Welcome to our channel. Get ready for The Monkey 2025, a chilling horror comedy based on Stephen King's story. When twin brothers find a cursed wind-up monkey, death follows. Years later, it's back, and the nightmare begins again. With a 78% Rotten Tomatoes score and 6/5/10 IMDb rating, this thriller is a must-watch. Stay tuned for all the spooky details.
The film begins in 1999 in a dimly lit antique shop. P.T. Shelburne, a troubled man in his 40s, enters carrying a small, old-fashioned cymbal-clapping monkey toy in a shoebox. He pleads with the shop owner, an elderly man named Mr. Daly, to take the toy, explaining that it is cursed. Mr. Daly scoffs at the notion, but as soon as he opens the box and sees the monkey, its eyes seem to glow. Suddenly, the monkey starts clapping its cymbals, even though no one has wound it up. At the exact moment, a shelf collapses, sending a sharp metal rod through Mr. Daly's throat, killing him instantly. Petey, horrified but unsurprised, quickly gathers the monkey and flees the scene. However, when he returns home, he is nowhere to be found, disappearing without a trace. His wife, Lois Shelburne, is left alone to raise their twin sons, Hal and Bill. A few months later, Hal and Bill, both 12 years old, are cleaning out their father's things when they discover the toy monkey in an old chest. Bill, the more impulsive and aggressive of the two, winds it up despite Hal's protests. The monkey claps its cymbals, and that night, their babysitter, Annie, dies in a horrific accident. She falls down the stairs and is impaled by a broken table leg. Shaken, Hal begins to suspect that the toy is responsible, but Bill laughs off the idea. However, when Hal later finds a newspaper clipping about other strange deaths connected to their father, he becomes convinced that the monkey is a harbinger of doom. A few days later, Lois Shelburne suddenly suffers a fatal aneurysm in front of her sons. Hal is devastated and blames himself for not stopping Bill from playing with the monkey. With both parents gone, the boys are sent to live with their Aunt Ida and Uncle Chip in Maine, desperate to rid themselves of the curse. Hal convinces Bill to seal the monkey inside a box and throw it down a well. They watch as it sinks into the dark water, believing they are finally free. Now, in his late 30s, Hal Shelburne is a deeply anxious and estranged man. He rarely sees his own son, Petey Jr., out of fear that his past will somehow endanger him. Meanwhile, Bill has become a reclusive alcoholic, still haunted by their childhood trauma. One night, Hal receives an unexpected phone call from Bill, who is in a panic. Their Aunt Ida has died in a freak accident involving a fire at her home. Bill is convinced that the monkey is back. Hal dismisses the idea at first, but when he arrives in town, he learns that a series of bizarre and gruesome deaths have occurred in recent weeks, including a man at a gas station mysteriously exploding after his car's fuel tank ignites, a motel worker being electrocuted in a swimming pool, a jogger being decapitated by a loose power line. As the deaths mount, Hal begins to fear that Bill is right. Hal and Petey Jr. meet up with Bill at their childhood home, where Bill reveals that he retrieved the monkey from the well after Ida's funeral. He has spent years trying to understand the curse and believes he has figured out the pattern. Whoever winds the monkey's key is immune to its effects, but everyone around them is in danger. Bill, resentful of Hal for their past and blaming him for their mother's death, forces Hal to wind the monkey, claiming it is his turn to bear the burden. Hal refuses, but Bill threatens to harm Petey Jr. if he doesn't comply. In desperation, Hal winds the monkey, and immediately all hell breaks loose. The moment the monkey begins clapping its cymbals, death spreads across the town in horrifying and absurd ways. A woman is sliced in half when an elevator cable snaps. A school bus crashes, killing multiple children. A construction worker falls into a cement mixer. A church bell collapses, crushing an entire congregation. The climax unfolds as Hal and Petey Jr. try to wrestle the monkey away from Bill, who has become obsessed with its power. During the struggle, Bill accidentally winds it again, causing his own horrific death when a chandelier falls and impales him. With Bill dead, Hal and Petey Jr. are left as the monkey's last victims. Suddenly, a mysterious pale man on horseback appears, a spectral figure with black, empty eyes, watching them from a distance. Hal realizes that this figure represents death itself. Instead of running, Hal and Petey Jr. decide to face their fate head-on. As the monkey slows its clapping, Hal makes a bold choice. He winds it one last time, then smashes it to pieces with a hammer. The ghostly man nods in approval and vanishes, and for the first time in decades, Hal feels a sense of peace. He and Petey Jr. walk away together, determined to rebuild their lives. The Monkey, 2025, is a darkly comedic horror film that explores themes of fate versus free will. The characters struggle with the idea that death is inevitable and beyond their control. Family trauma, the generational cycle of fear and guilt, haunts the Shelburne family. Absurdity of death. The film mixes horror and dark humor, making the deaths feel both tragic and grotesquely comical. Director Osgood Perkins infuses the movie with an eerie, slow-burning tension, culminating in a blood-soaked surreal climax. The Monkey itself is a metaphor for the randomness of life's tragedies, unstoppable and indifferent. The Monkey, 2025, is a chilling yet darkly humorous take on Stephen King's original short story. By blending psychological horror, supernatural elements, and satirical humor, it delivers a unique and unforgettable horror experience.